Thanks for joining in early today. We got a flight to catch in a little bit, so much appreciated. Wanted to be here with all of you ahead of time though, and a lot to discuss. A lot to discuss. This is not amongst them is not it's not Bitcoin's being removed from exchanges on January 3rd as a result of the Clarity Act, and the US government has given up on the Genius Act. They do not plan on basically being able to distribute stable coins worldwide, entrench the dollar, put a bid in for treasuries, because instead they're going to tank Bitcoin down. All right. Yeah, that sounds about right. Listen, let's jump in. Let's begin over here. First of all, NVIDIA blew away expectations, talking about what's a $500 billion next year in earnings. Unbelievable. And is the AI bubble over? Or is it a boom and just getting going? Questions that you need to ask yourself. Today's price action is horrifically bad. And you can see over here on the announcement of NVIDIA's earnings, markets rocketing up. And then New York pulling the plug, rug pulling everything down now. And it is ugly out there. I think it's time to ask some questions. But I have to first, I was asking questions the other day. The other day, I was saying, okay, US government has reopened and the TGA is not yet drawing down. Like, what's going on? And a couple of things. First of all, this data was delayed by 5 days. And since then, yesterday for the first time, it drew down a little bit. A little bit. And some people were like, and the question I'm asking is, wait a second, is the Treasury deliberately keeping the TGA elevated to pressure the Fed into outright easing? Look, you all know me. I've never been afraid to ask questions. I always ask questions, and I have no problem doing that, whether I agree with it or not. And all I'm saying is we know that the current administration, they want much easier monetary conditions, and we know that the Fed, by the way, we all are adults here, and we all realize that the Fed has always been a political entity. Now, sometimes it's going to lean one way, and another time it's going to lean the other. But the Fed board is appointed by a president who is political. And these people are human beings who hold political affiliations. Fed has always been political. And you know that the current administration is like, we are in a crisis, and the only way we see out of this crisis is to grow our way out. We need easy monetary conditions. And the Fed is like, that's not happening. We have a dual mandate, and part of that mandate is keeping inflation in check. And these tariffs that you're placing, we think they're going to be inflationary, even though past data suggests that it's not. And just now, this was April. Remember in April, we're like, that's not inflationary. Just now, the board governors are like, oh, there's nothing to suggest that that was inflationary. We had the Fed meeting minutes yesterday. So they won't play ball. And the administration, they need them to play ball. Is it possible, and I don't know that it's true or not, is it possible that they're trying to put, right now, everyone knows overnight repo is basically but drained. Everybody knows there's pressure out on the liquidity right now. Everybody knows that. And everyone says Bitcoin is the first one to sniff out liquidity. Bitcoin here is nosediving down. What's it looking for? Right? There's that lack of liquidity out there. It's looking for it. Is it possible that the Treasury is putting pressure on the Fed, who they know is not going to ease overnight Fed funds? So are they trying to get them to begin expanding the balance sheet sooner and at a greater pace than they wanted to? That's the question. Some people, some guy on Forward Guidance took issue with that. How could you ask such a question? That's a conspiracy. I don't know. Is it? Or is it? Or like, do not people conspire together all the time in order to achieve what they're looking to achieve? But this is a surprise. Yesterday I looked at the upcoming auctions with you and I was like, "Oh, look, they have nothing on the table. They have nothing on the table coming into a holiday week, and wow, they're giving the market a chance by backing off." Remember I talked about that headwind that the TGA raised. That's why I had the bears in the background. My timing was obviously well off. 7 weeks I felt like markets just kept making those all-time highs for sure. And then we had the soybeans and the China deal, and then we had the government reopening. And I thought it was a time for the bulls here to charge, but no, that's not what happened. And Powell said, that 25 basis point cut, that's not happening. What did he have inside info about the jobs? Maybe. We just got a pretty favorable jobs report, but we know that we've been looking for that to stabilize. Here at CTM, I've been saying I expect into the end of the year the jobs market to stabilize. And by the way, that's a good thing. The AI boom, that's a good thing. But one of the main things to focus on as we look at Bitcoin, oh my goodness, is going to be, has anything changed? So let me take that up, but let me finish this little tirade that I'm on over here because I think it's important. Yesterday I was saying, oh look, they're backing off. They're not doing anything during a holiday week. Holiday week is what? Low liquidity, right? And then out of nowhere, $650 billion overnight of new issuances. That's insanity. Maybe it's worthy of asking questions. Now, does that mean that this is exactly what's happening? Well, if we find out sooner than later, ahead of even the next FOMC, that the Fed has to stop QT and begin balance sheet expansion, it was right. But I think it's worthy of asking questions, and there is for sure something unusual about putting up $650 billion worth of new issuances, especially during a holiday week. Positions remain the same. MicroStrategy, 33% short trade, unrealized profit. I want to take a look at what else is going on. NVIDIA off of those bombastic earnings with a mega bear candle so far. Is it just retesting? Like, I don't think so, but I don't know. Is it just retesting the after hours fill right now? That was New York like, we want a piece of that. I don't know. Nevertheless, we're sidelined. We're sidelined, and that's a great place to be. On FNGU, it was looking a little healthier this morning than it is now, but we're significantly sidelined, right? Tesla, I think, was looking good earlier this morning. Everything's looking pretty bad now. Tesla is actually probably the closest to an entry over here. It's about 50-50, right? I guess it's 50-50 from entering on the long side or short side, but out of the market, we remain in cash. Obviously, spot ETFs out in cash. Wow. Jordan, when everyone's in expert phase is going on and prices up and to the right, it's really easy for me to say, oh, I should just buy and hold. It's not always like that. And then we have TQQQ also giving back massive gains. We had, even as we were closer to a potential entry coming up, the ST2 keeping us out still. Hey, last time it was right. We'll respect it and we'll continue. We're just waiting right now on the sidelines. Buy side boost crowd remains heavily feeling great right now with life, just completely out on the sidelines, being observers, preserving capital. We know that the Bitcoin bull runs had exited the market at 113,000, and I have to say that feels good now. And then we have some swing trades open right now, and that's Ethereum with 11% short and Cardano at a 21% short. Listen, anything's in the, so this price action so far doesn't look good, right? like Nvidia's earnings, any way you look at it, some people are like, well, they're starting to build inventory. They sold out of GPUs. Their earnings coming into next year continue to look, we're looking for signs. We're the first one saying if we see a pullback on CapEx spendings, that's going to be a major issue. But listen, we're not seeing any signs of that. It's a boom. It's continuing. The future's bright. Bitcoin's future's bright. Has anything changed as far as you're concerned? Let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin as we talk about it. So Bitcoin, by the way, we were setting up the underbelly. I set up 2 levels for an underbelly. An underbelly is the earliest and most aggressive sign of a reversal taking place. We have a downward sloping wedge, right, which is bullish if it breaks out where? To the upside. And then we had a breakdown at the other side, which is one of two things. Either a liquidity grab and winds up setting up a really big move to the other way, or a complete breakdown and not nice, right? And it looks like that's what's happening. We put in the underbelly right over here, and then I put in an aggressive one over here yesterday with you. Neither one of those have triggered, and on right now, as we speak, we are on the verge of losing today an utmost important level. And this is what I said the most important trend line in Bitcoin, in crypto, and truly it is. If we close below here, there's a greatly strong chance, how's that for English, that we're going to see further damage. And maybe that damage continues until, yeah, Alexei, you could be right. Maybe the markets are like, Powell's going to be a thorn in the side of the current administration until May 2026. We're gonna be not consolidating. We're gonna be going under some pressure. I'm just painting a story. I don't know that I'm gonna give the other end of that. By the way, we saw breakdown of the first technical breakdown, the close below the green on the Nasdaq after reclaiming all-time highs, the first one since July, and then we came in for a retest. What's unfortunate about this is that it's on good news, and so far that's not being like that. That's a rejection. Breakdown, retest, resumption down is bad news bears. And then at that point, we have 2 levels that we're looking at of what could be a little bit of a price magnet. And this is the supply into the all-time high, and then the one below it. So, and this is the next repair, the yellow line, either closing above neutral, above the green, or closing above. So far, it's not really a correction to speak of. I pointed out yesterday that what we should see once the Fed has not stopped QT yet, it's minuscule. It's only $5 billion. Not really a big deal. But we're looking for the balance sheet to begin going the other way. That's what we want. In order for the Fed to stop QT next week, 10 days, 2 weeks out from now, what will and when will the balance sheet begin rising? That's something we need to wait and watch for. Is it possible, as Alexei offers, that maybe we're about to hit into what will be considered a mini bear? I don't even know what a mini bear is in so much on Bitcoin. You know what? If it's, well, hold on. Let's ask some questions to ourselves. And let's start over here, and then I'm going to have to come back to the NASDAQ with you. But where do you think that we are right now? Is it possible that we skip even the bounce into complacency? Like, oh, things are returning back to normal. That would be Bitcoin above, $103,000, between 103 and 115. And people are like, oh, it's back to, and then the rug pull, as seen many times after a what? After a euphoric rise. We all know we didn't have the euphoric rise. Is it possible that we are skipping the complacency and we're just going out into right now are we in denial? Are we on the verge of, is the breakdown that is occurring right now or potentially occurring today the move between anxiety and denial well before any type of capitulation. And then I want to talk about what that would look like in 1 second. So pause and just bear with me as we continue on today. And over or where else could we be in the cycle? This is where most people believe that we are. We can't be in disbelief, right? I'm asking you, like, could we? Could we not? The last time that we were in this particular phase over here was, let me just jump back and get a chart of Bitcoin. So if we skip the complacency, the anxiety, if we skip complacency, we're losing anxiety right now, and we're about to go into denial, right? And then from denial into capitulation, you know, I mean, it's all possible. I don't know when. And actually, to get back to Alexei's point, it looks to me, I get it. It's out there. It's tinfoil hat type stuff. But the Fed, the Treasury, putting up $650 billion of new issuances seems a little peculiar with liquidity low. Are they trying to get the Fed to turn the printer on? It certainly seems like it. Listen, I'm not adamant about it. I don't pretend to know and have the truth. I certainly don't have any inside information. But I was asking that question before they put up $650 billion worth of new issuances, and they put that money up within a 48-hour period. It's absolutely insanity. Right now, everyone knows there is not a liquidity crisis, but certainly a liquidity crunch. And then they're like, they're just pounding that. If that is what indeed is happening, then, and the Fed is forced to respond, Bitcoin is bouncing out of whenever that happens. Like whenever the Fed is if that were to happen, Bitcoin is bouncing and it's going to be a beach ball. If that doesn't happen, and maybe the Treasury is trying to do that, but maybe they're not successful because maybe Powell doesn't care, and maybe it's more important to him to be political and not play ball. Maybe. Now there are other people who think wildly different, and honestly, I don't know. But I'm asking questions, and they seem worthy of questions. Now, is it possible Bitcoin bounces from here, comes into complacency? Complacency would look like coming back into this resistance in over here at some point, and then coming in for are we going to see a bear market that lasts 12 months with a 75 to 85% drawdown? Oh, I don't think so. My whole, even throughout this moment of uncertainty, has not changed. Well, first of all, the most important is positioning. I do say, oh, wait a second, the Fed is not cutting because the job market is actually stabilizing. That's something that we were looking for and thought would happen. The AI boom, that's continuing. That's conducive to GDP. By the way, Atlanta Fed just came out with projections for GDP, and it's at 4.2%. 4.2% is not recessionary things. Now, Verizon laying off 13,000 workers. We saw unemployment rising from 4.3 to 4.4%. A lot of low income people lost jobs again, and this K-shaped economy is going to continue, and it's going to continue. That's not getting better, and that's not good, but that's not necessary anyway. I feel so bad about that. I don't want to talk about that. Now, when I say nothing's changed for me, I believe the all-time high for Bitcoin this cycle is coming closer to 2028 halving than the 2024. Nothing's changed. I don't believe, and this is like, I would be wrong as can be if there were greater than a 60% drawdown. At that point, and I didn't think we'd get such a severe drawdown unless we moved to the upside hard. And then I thought, yeah, between a 40 and 60% drawdown, well within the cards. But technicals are technicals. If we lose this level, then, well, you know what? The next bit of support is, well, I guess that's just below my 40 to 60%. See, I mean, I thought, anyway, do I think that we're losing that level down over there? I don't think so. 45%, 70,000 Bitcoin. I don't see right there. Look to the left. That's the consolidation prior to the election. Um, I don't think we lose it. It doesn't change my opinion at all on what's transpiring. If we lose this level, I expect, yeah, there's going to be further damage to the downside. When I talk about that, has anything changed here? What my view is? No. Could I be wrong? Well, then we're going to need to take out, this orange line down over here. And I don't see it. Now, we'll find out. So, this is a great. So, has anything changed? The thumbnail says, like, what's changed? And this is so important to talk about. Y'all see Lindsay on X, and Lindsay's been hustling, doing everything she can to become a whole coiner. She became a whole coiner just yesterday. She, Uber after work, doing whatever possible, stacking. In her mind, the only thing that's changed is that she was able to become a whole coiner quicker because the price of Bitcoin has come off 30%. And why she continues stacking, it was when Bitcoin was trading at $120,000. Did you think you own enough Bitcoin? Or were you hoping that you had a further opportunity to accumulate? Do you think that they're taking Bitcoin off exchanges on January 3rd and that Bitcoin's going to zero? Or has anything changed? My own thesis for the bullish case for Bitcoin is, by the way, thanks for being here an hour early. I don't like when I don't have the chance to prepare as I like, but today is such an important conversation to have with all of you. The debasement, is that going to continue? The debasement of the underlying is the bullish case for Bitcoin. And no, they could taper a Ponzi, which they have been tapering it, but only for so long. And when they're finished tapering it, soon thereafter, math is math, and the balance sheet is going to continue to rise. Then the second is the further adoption of Bitcoin. Has there been any red flags about the further adoption of Bitcoin? Is Russia and Iran trading for energy in Bitcoin? Is the U.S. government now putting up, by the way, there's another bill for strategic reserve placed in the United States by a lawmaker. Is the United States openly now favorable towards Bitcoin? Is again 2028, Kamala Harris wins the election, that could put a big stunt in the adoption of Bitcoin. If she comes out and she's like, listen, we don't like it. Coinbase, you can no longer offer an on and off ramp. Put in an SE chair. Well, the court's already, I don't know. It could be complicated. China's tried to ban it so many times. They gave up. Russia's tried to ban it so many times. They gave up. Obviously, the adoption continues, and it's way more, and it's going to continue to be way more entrenched as we move forward. So when you're looking at, has anything changed? And this becomes a place where, we have the cold storage and then the trading, where is it an opportune time for you to roll some into that long term? Or are you like, I've seen a lot of people turn bearish 2026 recession with a 4.2 GDP, stabilizing job market, monetary policy moving from tighten towards easing, and fiscal dominance. Nothing is stopping this train. But hey, to each their own. We'll find out. Woo! I can't. This is an unbelievable reversal in play, and it is nasty and gnarly out there. There's nothing like knowing when to be in the market, when out, and on what side. And I hope it's not a hard lesson for some people. I hope that most people, including half the community, buy side only, like this right now. So like, and you know what, man, I believe in all of you, and I want all of you to do so well. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of experience, and it takes a lot of dedication. But I believe. I believe. I'm so in shock about this. The new issuance. I'm in shock. Is that real? What are they doing? There we go. Hold on one second. Maybe it's not real. Jump back. I had the tweet. Hold on one second. It's a good thing I have a screenshot of it. That changed. Well, I guess that was up for today. No, it's the offering date. The issue date is all during the holidays. Look at this. 110.95.86. It's gone. Was it a misprint? It's a good thing I had a screenshot of it. Does this look significantly better? 210, 280, 340, $460 billion compared to 650. It's still a lot. I mean, the number is a little more palatable, but why are they raising that much money in a 10-day period ahead of the Fed? But for sure, and it's a good thing we have the screenshot because the numbers have changed. And then we got my boy from Forward Guidance who doesn't like asking questions. Wow. Market's feeling it. Stay safe, everyone. Listen, we got a flight, so I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Tomorrow, we're not online, but I'll see you all soon. Have a good weekend, everyone. God bless you. Thanks for being here.